The moon, a shimmering beacon in the night sky, humanity's first step beyond Earth, a symbol of what we can achieve when we dare to dream. In 1969, astronauts planted a flag on its dusty surface, leaving footprints that still sit untouched, frozen in time. The Apollo missions were a triumph, a moment when the world held its breath and watched as humans touched the stars. But then, silence. The moon, once the pinnacle of exploration, was abandoned. No more missions, no more footprints. NASA, the agency that made the impossible possible, turned away. For decades, they've fed us the same tired excuses. Too expensive, too risky, no public interest. But what if those excuses are just a smokescreen? What if the real reason NASA stopped going to the moon is something they've buried deep, something they never wanted us to know? A visionary entrepreneur known for shaking up industries and rewriting the rules has been asking questions. He's been digging through old files, piecing together clues, and what he's found could change everything we thought we knew about the moon. This isn't just about dusty craters or forgotten flags. This is about secrets, hidden structures, and a truth that might rewrite history itself. Buckle up, because what's coming next will leave you speechless. Let's rewind to July 20th, 1969. The world was glued to grainy black and white screens as Apollo 11's lunar module touched down. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Those words echoed across the globe, a testament to human ingenuity. Over the next 3 years, NASA sent 6 more missions to the moon. 12 astronauts walked its surface, collected rocks, ran experiments, and came home as heroes. The Apollo program was a marvel, a symphony of cutting-edge tech, raw courage, and relentless ambition. It cost billions, sure, but it delivered results that reshaped our understanding of the cosmos. So why, after all that, did NASA just stop? By 1972, the moon missions were over. No grand finale, no clear plan to return. The agency shifted gears, focusing on space shuttles, satellites, and the International Space Station. The moon, humanity's greatest prize, was left behind like an old toy gathering dust. NASA's official story is simple: money. The Apollo program burned through $25 billion in 1960s dollars, roughly $150 billion today. Each launch was a gamble, with astronauts riding atop rockets that were essentially giant controlled explosions. The Cold War space race with the Soviet Union was winding down, and the public's attention was drifting. Why keep spending billions to visit a barren rock when there were problems to solve on Earth? That's the narrative NASA has stuck to for decades. But does it hold up? Think about it. If the moon was such a dead end, why did we go there in the first place? If it was worth the cost and risk in 1969, why not in 1980, 1990, or 2000? Technology only got better. Computers shrank from room-sized machines to pocket calculators. Rockets became more reliable, materials stronger, automation smarter. If we could land on the moon with slide rules and analog tech, why hasn't NASA gone back with today's tools? Something doesn't add up. Enter the disruptor, a man who's made a career out of challenging the status quo. He's not buying NASA's excuses. To him, the moon isn't just a footnote in history, it's a stepping stone to the stars. His company, founded in 2002, didn't just want to tinker with space travel, it wanted to revolutionize it. While NASA was bogged down by bureaucracy and bloated budgets, this company was building reusable rockets, slashing costs, and proving that space didn't have to be a government-only game. By 2020, their spacecraft was carrying astronauts to the International Space Station, something NASA hadn't done on its own since the shuttle program ended in 2011. This wasn't just a flex, it was a wake-up call. A private company was outpacing the agency that once owned the stars. And now, this visionary is turning his eyes to the moon, asking the questions NASA hoped we'd forget. Here's where things get wild. This entrepreneur isn't just interested in lunar vacations. He's digging into NASA's past, combing through declassified documents, old mission logs, and grainy photos from the Apollo era. And what he's found has sent shockwaves through the space community. Buried in the archives, among thousands of images of craters and moonscapes, was something that didn't belong. A photograph taken during one of the Apollo missions showing the lunar surface in stark detail. But in the corner of the frame, half hidden in shadow, was something unnatural. Not a rock, not a crater, but a structure. Sharp angles, geometric precision, something that nature doesn't make. It wasn't blurry or ambiguous, it was clear, deliberate, and impossible to ignore. This wasn't a conspiracy theorist's fever dream. This was real, captured by NASA's own cameras, and it suggested something unthinkable. Either humans weren't the first to visit the moon, or something else was already there. Let's pause for a second and let that sink in. A structure on the moon. Not a random boulder or a trick of the light, but something that looks built. The implications are staggering. If it's human-made, who put it there? NASA's records show no evidence of secret missions or lost equipment that could explain it. The Apollo astronauts didn't report anything like this, at least not publicly. If it's not human, then what is it? An ancient relic, an alien outpost, the kind of discovery that could upend everything we know about our place in the universe? The entrepreneur didn't stop at the photo. He kept digging, cross-referencing mission data, satellite maps, and lunar surveys. He found gaps, areas of the moon's surface that NASA mapped in detail, but never released to the public. Regions marked as classified or simply left blank in official records. Why? If the moon is just a lifeless rock, what's there to hide? NASA's response? Crickets, no press release, no explanation, no denial. Just silence. And in the world of secrets, silence speaks louder than words. The agency has spent decades studying the moon, launching orbiters, mapping every inch of its surface. They've got high-res images of craters so detailed you can see individual pebbles, but certain areas remain off-limits. Their data locked away in vaults. The entrepreneur has been pushing for answers, using his platform to demand transparency. He's not accusing NASA of a cover-up, not yet, but he's making it clear he's not letting this go. And with his company's lunar ambitions, he's got the means to find out for himself. His rockets are already being prepped for moon missions, part of a NASA contract to support the Artemis program, which aims to put astronauts back on the lunar surface. But unlike NASA, he's not just looking to plant a flag. He's looking for the truth. Let's back up and look at why NASA might want to keep something like this under wraps. The Apollo program wasn't just about science. It was about power. The space race was a Cold War showdown, a chance for the US to flex its muscles and prove it could outsmart the Soviets. Landing on the moon was a propaganda win, a way to show the world who was boss. But what if during those missions, NASA found something they couldn't explain, something that didn't fit the narrative of a lifeless moon? Admitting that would have been chaos. The public wasn't ready for it. Governments weren't ready for it. The scientific community would have been thrown into a frenzy, and the Cold War could have taken a very different turn. So instead of announcing a discovery, NASA might have chosen to bury it, to keep the focus on the triumph of Apollo and avoid questions they couldn't answer. Fast forward to today, and the stakes are even higher. Space isn't just a government playground anymore. Private companies are launching rockets, building spacecraft, and planning colonies. The moon is back in play, not as a symbol, but as a resource. It's got water ice, which can be turned into fuel. It's got helium-3, a potential jackpot for nuclear fusion. It's a stepping stone to Mars and beyond. Whoever controls the moon controls the future of space exploration. NASA knows this, and so does the entrepreneur. His company is already working on lunar landers, habitats, and mining tech. But if there's something or someone already on the moon, that changes the game. It's not just about resources or bragging rights. It's about who gets to write the next chapter of human history. Now let's talk about the moon itself. It's not the boring rock NASA wants you to think it is. Recent studies have turned up some jaw-dropping surprises. For starters, the moon might have a tail. Not a physical one, but a shimmering stream of particles that stretches into space, visible only once a month when Earth passes through it. Scientists discovered this by studying sodium atoms kicked up from the lunar surface, forming a faint glow that's been hiding in plain sight. Then there's the water. In 2020, NASA's SOFIA telescope confirmed water molecules in the moon's sunlit regions, not just in shadowy craters. This isn't a trickle. It's enough to sustain a base, maybe even a colony. And don't forget the volcanoes. In 2023, researchers found evidence of recent volcanic activity, with lava flows as young as 100 million years old. The moon isn't dead. It's alive, geologically speaking, and it's hiding secrets we're only starting to uncover. These discoveries make NASA's silence even more suspicious. If the moon is this dynamic, this resource-rich, why did they walk away? The entrepreneur has a theory, and it's not about budgets or politics. He thinks NASA found something during Apollo that scared them, or at least something they weren't ready to deal with. That structure in the photo? It's not alone. Other anomalies have popped up over the years. In 1994, the Clementine mission mapped the moon and found strange reflective patches that didn't match the surrounding terrain. In 2009, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter spotted what looked like artificial shapes in high-res images. NASA dismissed these as optical illusions or natural formations, but the entrepreneur isn't convinced. He's got access to the same data, and he's building AI to analyze it, pixel by pixel, looking for patterns NASA might have missed or ignored. Here's where it gets emotional. Imagine being an astronaut on Apollo 17, the last moon mission. You're standing on the lunar surface, staring at Earth, a fragile blue marble hanging in the void. You know you're part of something bigger, something that could change humanity forever. But when you get home, the program's cancelled. Your sacrifice, your courage, it's all shelved. For decades, those astronauts have carried that weight, knowing we turned our backs on the moon. Now, a new generation is ready to pick up the torch, led by a man who refuses to let the dream die. He's not just fighting for the moon, he's fighting for what it represents, our ability to push beyond fear, beyond doubt, and reach for the impossible. But what if the truth he uncovers isn't a triumph? What if it's a warning? Let's talk about the entrepreneur's plan. His company isn't just building rockets, it's building a future. The Starship, a massive, fully reusable spacecraft, is the key. It's designed to carry 100 passengers, thousands of tons of cargo, and enough fuel to reach the Moon, Mars, and beyond. In 2023, Starship's first orbital test shook the world, proving it could fly. By 2024, they'd nailed reusable landings, catching the booster mid-air in a move that looks straight out of science fiction. NASA's own rocket, the Space Launch System, costs $4 billion per launch and gets scrapped after one use. Starship, a fraction of that, reusable and ready to fly again in weeks. This is why NASA's leaning on the entrepreneur's company for Artemis. They need his tech to get back to the Moon. But he's not just a contractor, he's a competitor, and he's playing to win. The Artemis program is NASA's big comeback, a plan to land astronauts on the Moon by 2028. It's ambitious, but it's also a mess. The Space Launch System is years behind schedule, billions over budget, and still unproven. Meanwhile, the entrepreneur's company is already testing lunar landers, with contracts to deliver cargo and crew. They're not waiting for NASA's green light. They're charging ahead, planning bases, mining operations, and even lunar tourism. But here's the kicker. Every mission is a chance to investigate those anomalies. Every lander, every rover, every camera is a tool to uncover what NASA's been hiding. The entrepreneur isn't subtle about it. He said publicly that the Moon holds secrets and he's going to find them. NASA can't stop him. They need him too much. Now let's get to the heart of it. Why did NASA really stop the Moon missions? The entrepreneur's discovery points to one chilling possibility. They found something they couldn't handle. That structure in the Apollo photo isn't just a curiosity, it's a game changer. If it's human-made, it means someone beat us to the Moon, maybe centuries ago. If it's alien, it means we're not alone, and we never were. Either way, NASA had reasons to pull back. Admitting they found a structure would have sparked panic, derailed the space program, and handed ammunition to their Cold War rivals. So they buried it, redirected funds, and built a narrative that kept the Moon off limits. But secrets don't stay buried. The entrepreneurs got the tools, the will, and the vision to dig them up. Picture this, a lunar base, built by the entrepreneur's company, humming with activity. Rovers explore the surface, drilling for water, mining for helium-3. Astronauts, private citizens, not just NASA elites, walk the Moon, live streaming every step. Then one day a rover's camera pans across a crater and there it is. The structure. Not a myth, not a glitch, but real, undeniable broadcast to billions. The world stops. Every government, every scientist, every person on Earth grapples with the truth. Are we alone? Were we ever? The entrepreneur doesn't just want to build a base. He wants to force that moment to make humanity face the reality of what's out there. It's not just exploration, it's a reckoning. But there's another angle, one that hits harder. The Moon isn't just about secrets or resources, it's about us. It's about what we're capable of when we stop making excuses. The Apollo missions weren't perfect, but they showed what happens when we commit, when we pour everything into a goal. NASA lost that fire, tangled in red tape and politics. The entrepreneur didn't. He's betting everything, his fortune, his reputation, his legacy, on the belief that humanity belongs in space. He's not doing it for profit or fame. He's doing it because he knows that if we stay on Earth, we're done. Climate change, wars, asteroids. One bad day could wipe us out. The moon, Mars, the stars, they're our insurance policy, our chance to survive. But to get there, we have to face the truth, no matter how shocking. Let's talk about what's at stake. If the entrepreneur's right, and NASA's been hiding evidence of structures or artifacts, the fallout will be massive. Governments will scramble to control the narrative. Scientists will demand access to the data. The public will split. Some will call it a hoax. Others will see it as proof of a cosmic cover-up. Religions, philosophies, entire worldviews will be challenged. And that's just the start. If there's technology on the moon, alien or otherwise, it could leapfrog our civilization forward, solving energy crises, curing diseases, or unlocking secrets of the universe. But it could also be dangerous. What if that structure isn't a ruin? What if it's active, watching, waiting? The entrepreneur's not naive. He knows the risks, but he also knows that ignorance isn't safety. We can't hide from the truth forever. NASA's not clueless. They see the entrepreneur coming. They know his company's lunar missions could expose what they've kept hidden. That's why Artemis is such a big deal. It's their attempt to get back in the game, to control the moon before someone else does. But they're playing catch-up. The entrepreneur's rockets are faster, cheaper, and already flying. His AI is scanning lunar data, looking for anomalies NASA missed. His team is designing habitats that don't just visit the moon, but stay there, building a permanent presence. NASA's space launch system might get 1 or 2 missions off the ground. The entrepreneur's Starship could launch a dozen in the same time, each one a chance to uncover the truth. Let's zoom out for a second. The moon isn't just a destination, it's a mirror. It shows us who we are, what we value, what we're willing to fight for. In 1969, it showed us courage, ingenuity, and unity. Today, it's showing us something else: division, secrecy, and fear. NASA's silence isn't just about protecting old secrets, it's about protecting power. The agency that once inspired the world is now a gatekeeper, holding back data, dodging questions, and hoping we don't notice. But the entrepreneur's not playing that game. He's tearing down the gates, demanding answers, and building the tools to get them. He's not just a businessman, he's a catalyst, forcing us to confront the unknown. Here's where it gets personal. Think about the world we're leaving for the next generation. A planet stretched to its limits, resources dwindling, conflicts flaring. The moon could be our lifeline, a place to mine, to build, to learn. But more than that, it's a reminder of what we can do when we stop settling for excuses. The entrepreneur's not waiting for permission. He's not waiting for NASA to catch up. He's building the future now, rocket by rocket, mission by mission. And he's inviting us to join him, not as spectators, but as pioneers. The moon isn't just a rock in the sky. It's a challenge, a mystery, a chance to be part of something bigger. But to seize it, we have to face the truth, no matter how unsettling. Let's talk about the structure again. That photo, buried in NASA's archives, isn't just a curiosity, it's a bombshell. The entrepreneur's team has been analyzing it, using AI to enhance the image, map its dimensions, and compare it to known lunar features. The results are staggering. The structure isn't small, it's massive, with clean lines and symmetry that scream designed. It's not near any Apollo landing site, which rules out lost equipment. It's in a region NASA's mapped but never publicized, a shadowed crater on the moon's far side. The far side, hidden from Earth, invisible to our telescopes, is the perfect place to hide something. And NASA's been cagey about it for years, releasing only curated images and vague reports. Other clues back this up. In 2011, the Grail mission studied the moon's gravity and found massive underground voids, caverns big enough to hold cities. NASA called them natural lava tubes, but their size and placement don't add up. Some are near the far side, close to where the structure was spotted. In 2022, China's Chang'e 4 rover found unusual materials on the far side, with properties unlike anything in Apollo samples. China shared the data, but NASA stayed quiet. The entrepreneur's not staying quiet. He's planning to send his own probes, equipped with ground-penetrating radar and high-res cameras, to investigate. If there's a network of structures or tunnels, he'll find it. And he won't keep it secret. This brings us to the bigger picture. The moon isn't just a prize, it's a crossroads. Whoever controls it controls space. The US, China, Russia, and private companies are all racing to stake their claim. NASA's Artemis program is a start, but it's slow, expensive, and tied to political whims. China's moving faster, with plans for a lunar base by 2030. Russia's talking about nuclear-powered moon stations, but the entrepreneur's company is the wild card. They're not bound by government red tape or diplomatic games. They're building now, testing now, flying now. And they're not just after resources, they're after answers. The structure, the voids, the anomalies. They're pieces of a puzzle that could redefine humanity's place in the cosmos. Let's get real for a moment. Finding a structure on the moon wouldn't just be a scientific breakthrough, it would be a cultural earthquake. Everything we've built, our history, our beliefs, our sense of self, rests on the idea that we're the only ones out here. If that's wrong, if someone or something was on the moon before us, it forces us to rethink everything. Who were they? Where did they come from? Are they still out there? The entrepreneur's not afraid of those questions. He's chasing them, knowing full well they could change the world. NASA's afraid. They've had decades to investigate, to share, to prepare us. Instead, they've chosen silence, leaving us in the dark. Here's the emotional core. The moon belongs to all of us. Not NASA, not governments, not even the entrepreneur. It's our shared heritage, our shared dream. When Apollo 11 landed, it wasn't just an American victory, it was a human one. But for 50 years, we've been denied the full story. We've been fed half-truths, locked out of data, told to look away. The entrepreneur's fighting for us, for our right to know. He's risking everything, his company, his reputation, his vision, to bring the truth to light. And he's doing it because he believes in us, in our ability to handle the unknown, to rise to the challenge, to build a future that's not just bigger, but better. Let's talk about what happens next. The entrepreneur's company is already testing lunar landers, with plans to deliver cargo by 2026. Astronauts will follow, not in decades, but in years. Every mission is a chance to investigate, to scan, to dig. The far side of the moon, where that structure sits, is a priority. NASA can't stop it. They're too dependent on the entrepreneur's tech. China's watching. Russia's watching. The world's watching. If the truth comes out, it won't be in a dusty archive or a classified report. It'll be live on screens across the globe, undeniable and unstoppable. The entrepreneur's not just building rockets, he's building a moment, a turning point for humanity. But there's a darker possibility. What if NASA's silence isn't about fear, but caution? What if that structure isn't a relic, but something active, something dangerous? The entrepreneur's not reckless. He's calculated every move, but even he can't predict what's out there. If he pushes too far, too fast, he could unleash something we're not ready for. A signal, a weapon, a presence. The moon's been quiet for eons, but that doesn't mean it's empty. NASA might have stopped the missions not to hide the truth, but to protect us from it. The entrepreneurs betting that knowledge is worth the risk. Is he right? Or are we opening a door we can't close? Let's end with a call to action. The moon's waiting. It's not just a rock or a resource. It's a mystery, a challenge, a chance to redefine who we are. The entrepreneur's leading the charge, but he can't do it alone. We need to demand answers, to hold NASA accountable, to push for transparency. We need to support the missions, the science, the dream. The truth is out there, hidden in the shadows of craters, buried in the silence of decades. It's time to uncover it. It's time to go back to the moon, not just to walk, but to understand. The future's not written yet, but it's ours to shape. Let's make it count.